Welcome to the Las Piedras Railroad. It is the weekend, first weekend in December. We took last week off and went to visit my son and his family in Fresno, California, which took us between Yuma and Fresno over to Tehachapi through the Mojave Desert, through the fictitious area that I'm modeling with Las Piedras. And taking a few pictures, I noticed that my shrub and landscape material and bushes and even trees to an extent were just a little bit lean, so I came back to do a fill-in. It's Tony Coaster. If you'll see some pictures on websites that show his scenery development on his layout, there was one picture where he had scenery material down one like 10 or 12 foot strip of the layout. I have a few items out right here. And the whole idea is just to use this stuff sporadically as fill-ins to the Martin Welberg material. And the only Martin Welberg material I'm using are these low shrubs, but he just introduced some bigger shrubs that I just saw on the Scenic Express page and on his page as well too. So we use the good old Scenic Express tufts, the prairie tufts. This is some good old JTT stuff that I use for fill-in. This makes interesting sagebrush. This is floral foam, and if you grind it up and sporadically sprinkle it around, excuse me, this is wet, so it doesn't look that great. And I got to break it up a little more and filling in that arroyo or that little canyon there. And another item I started working on this weekend, Rick Sutton on a Model Railroad Hobbyist does an extremely awesome job of doing phone poles with guy wires. And thanks to the folks on RailWire, I was able to understand where to put guy wires. And technically, they're not really painted, the poles orange or yellow. Those are reflector strips that go around or painted rings, but it's super tedious and end scale. And just a little dab of paint on the guy wire will represent the guy wire coverings. And I learned about the transformers. They only go where there's service, so that would feed that equipment shed. And the same thing I learned about guy wires. They would go to support a turn or loose soil that the pole is in. And then I've also noticed too that I'm going to have to come back in here and fill this in with more of the addendum bushes and scenic material that we did down at Las Piedras Ridge here on Roaring Creek. Might be too thin, might not be. And I went back and ordered a smaller cantilever signal crossing for Las Piedras Highway. I broke the signals off, the ones that were in there, pulled them out, but I think when I was trying to put them back in, even though they're on pins, I broke off the crossbuck, and it was really a pain to get back. Plus, I really like these the single lane crossings. I want to put those in town as well too. That's what they're going to look like in town.